I am driving back to San Jose right now, so we can do a quick little talk on different training methods that I've tried, and uh, I've I've a little background on me. Like I've always been interested in getting lean and strong. I'm trying to remember. Like I mean, I was always interested in that because we grew up on like the classic action movies of the 80s and 90s, and so that was the first influence for me to want to start to get as jacked as possible. um, I remember wanting to like get in shape even as like uh, even in like elementary school. Obviously, at those times, I had no idea how to do so. But I remember like seeing those movies and be like, "Damn, like that's so cool." And I started like trying because I was always interested in like muscle magazines and things like that. I remember, and Bruce Lee was a one of my favorites. Um, and I remember probably around seventh or eighth grade where I was trying to do stuff. I was trying to jump higher. I remember I had Air Alert, or maybe this was early in high school. Air Alert was one of those programs that increases your vert. And I remember I even had jump soles. And the first time I actually started to work, it must have been sophomore year. Like, my parents got me a membership at 24 Hour Fitness and a trainer. And it just, I don't know. It just wasn't gonna, like, I working out with, damn, I forgot his name. But this guy, he was a bodybuilder at 24 Hour Fitness, and we would work out, and I just didn't have it. I just didn't have it. Like I liked to play basketball. I played a lot. I wanted to get abs. Abs was like my obsession, which is why this whole thing even started. And so I did get like I got a little semblance of abs like once or twice, maybe when I was working out with him. But for the most part, like I had no success uh, getting any change in strength or appearance up until age 21 or 22 when I went to CrossFit in Santa Clara, Jason Khalipa's CrossFit, which was that must have been 2000, late 2008 or 2000 or early 2009. And that's the first time where I was in an environment where, minus that short time where I was with that trainer, but this was the first time I was in an environment where people really knew what they were doing. There's coaching, and it was just a lot of fun. So I was just in it. Like my one of my best friends, Gary, who actually brought me there. Like we would just hang out, and so that's leads me to like one of the main points, which is you want to you want to focus and optimize for consistency, nothing else, because nothing else matters if you're not consistent. So that's one of the reasons I like group stuff, especially like if you're starting out, because it becomes fun. Like you meet people, you're laughing, having a good time, and you happen to be working out, right? And generally, there is some type of coaching. There's some, strength gyms and CrossFit gyms that have very, very good coaching. And so, but even not like the general level of knowledge and information is higher today than back at those times. So you're gonna be better off if you have no experience being in one of those classes. So like a lot of people are focused on like sets, reps, rest periods, which program. That stuff isn't as important as just being consistent. So during that time, like I was just set, and so literally within like a month, so I was always skinny fat at that time. Literally within a month, but I didn't weigh a lot. Like I was probably 155 ish, but introducing or being in that environment and being introduced to, in 2009, the paleo diet, and the warrior diet, and intermittent fasting, and just working out every day because I liked it so much, and it was so much fun. I For the first time in my life, I got very, very, very lean, got a six pack probably within a month to 2 months. And that was it. Like, then I was addicted. I was already addicted by that point, but getting results, man, like that's everything. And so one of the things that I started to do when I was at CrossFit in those times, I kind of recognized like I could do everything. And like there's a video when I went to Jason Khalipa's CrossFit. It's somewhere on either on the CrossFit website or his YouTube, where in my first week he was teaching me the muscle up, and I got a muscle up on the first day of him teaching me. And he was going to use that video to for the CrossFit page or whatever, like their instructional page. But I recognize, so like I could do stuff. I could obviously run. Running and conditioning was never a problem because I played basketball my whole life, high school and college. But I realized that I was not as strong as in those different workouts as other people. So that's kind of where I started getting down the rabbit hole of strength. And I'm my limbs, my limb length, my proportions are more suited for deadlifting. So deadlift actually went up pretty fast, which was actually great, and that informs a lot of my training philosophy today. Is like everybody who comes in, we start with a deadlift. Reason for that is like the deadlift is very easy to pick up, pun intended, and it allows you to load your body with the most amount of weight or tension compared to anything else, and extremely safe. If you especially like if you're learning from somebody who knows, like deadlift is one of the safest things you could do. And so I recognized, I was like, damn, like my deadlift within the first 6 months, I think I hit 405, maybe 6 to 9 months. And prior to that, actually, like the previous 2 years or so, or 3 years, I had this back pain on and off that was like, sometimes it was like I couldn't walk, right? And so within a month of deadlifting, my back pain disappeared. And within 6 to 9 months, I deadlifted 405 for the first time. But I could, like, my squat wasn't where I would have liked it to be. And so then I started to go down the rabbit hole, and like, this is where I started to see some of the people that I was looking at in those times, because there was no social media people sharing this level of information like there is today, or even like it started back in like 2010 to 2000, or probably like 2013 ish. And so Dan John, Pavel was actually the first person that I learned from. I had his book. I believe that book was called Enter the Kettlebell. Still, like, Pavel's stuff is amazing. Extremely smart guy. And so Pavel led me down the line to learn about Dan John, Louis Simmons. Louis Simmons is the great strength coach who owned and ran Westside Barbell, one of the strongest gyms in the world, and also like a genius, like a mad scientist. And so one of the things early on that I started to do that people were not really doing at that time, and this was heavily influenced from Louis Simmons stuff that they would do at Westside, and then even more so from Dan John, because he I have a couple of his books from that time as well. Like, sled work was huge, and just loaded carries in general. So I was doing a lot of that, and I still remember, like, eventually my business partner, when we opened the gym, he would be there all the time, and we would work out, and I would be out there dragging sleds, pushing sleds, yoke walks, etc. And he was like, "What is this guy doing? Like, what are you doing?" And so sled work and just loaded carries was a huge thing for me at the beginning. And then, okay, I made the wrong turn, but that's okay. So what I then, from the sled work, the next thing that I really started to dive into was the idea of strength as a skill, and how strength is way more neurological than it is how big you are. Obviously, a bigger muscle has greater potential for strength, but there's a lot of bigger guys